Hi everybody, I'm Kathy Wing, Artistic Director of the Randall Theater Company, and tonight I am coming to you from inside the Randall Entertainment and Show Hall. Now, if you've been following our Facebook page, then you know that we have reached an agreement with the owner of the building for termination of the lease for this space. So, we are in the process of moving out. And as you can see, I'm just going to give you a little look around here. You can see the stage area there. That looks pretty much the same. We haven't really done too much with that space yet, but the real difference is over here in what used to be the seating area. And as you can see, the risers have been taken down, the chairs have been stacked, and the space is basically an open floor. And we are working toward getting everything cleaned out of here. We need to basically have this space cleaned out by the end of the month, and so we are, so that is what we're working on right now. Letting this place go was a difficult decision, but the reality is that not being able to put on shows here for nearly 3 months, it definitely took a toll. Under phase 2, we can reopen, but even with that, we can only have 50 people in the space at any time, and that includes cast and crew and of course audience. So the bottom line is that between the rent and the utilities, production costs, the cost of putting on a show in this place would be more than we would be able to generate through ticket sales. So here we are, but there is a bright spot. The Randall Theater Company will continue. We have a lead on a space right now in, and if we can work out the details, it will be a really, really great place for us to sort of reboot the Randall. And if everything works out, we will be back to producing shows again in as little as a few weeks. But in the meantime, think of this as a short intermission with a scene change. So we've got to get a little creative. We're still planning on some traditional type shows for sure, the plays and musicals that you love, and as do we. Those will be on a simpler scale than what we've done in the past, but still involving some really great talented performers. And we are exploring some other possibilities as well, which will include things like improv shows, review shows, and things that can be live streamed right to you in your living room. Most importantly, the Randall Theater Company is still here, and we're ready to move on to the next adventure. Now, you might recall that the very first show that was done on this stage was in October of 2018, and it was Evil Dead, the musical, a really different type of show than what the Randall usually does. So, it seems appropriate that for tonight's interview, we have 2 of the actors who starred in that show. Q.A. Gabumpa, who played sexy scientist and demonology expert Annie Noby, and Jonathan Oles, who took on the role of Ash following in the bloody footprints of the legendary Bruce Campbell. I caught up with Jon and Q in their new home in Seattle to reminisce a little bit about their Randall days and to talk a little Evil Dead. So I am here with Jon Oles and Q Gabumpa. And first I want to say how wonderful it is to see you guys.
Wonderful to be seen, Kathy. Good to see you too. It's been too long.
It has been too long. You for a long time, both of you lived here in Southern Oregon, and we're doing lots of theater down here. But now you have moved. You are in a new location. So tell us about that. How that, what's going on for you guys up there?
At the very end of last year, we moved to Seattle for various business and educational purposes, and also to be nearer my family as well. They're all up here, and so far no regrets.
Yeah, no, it's been great. Jon's doing caretaking work. I'm a mental health professional, and we're both seeing what else we can do with our lives.
Great. So when you are at home, what kinds of things are you doing to keep yourselves occupied?
Well, we keep ourselves very easily occupied. We play games, puzzles. We make up random skits that we do in the kitchen. We sing all the time. And we just ask each other lots of questions.
And then when we get tired, there's always Hulu and Netflix.
That's true. So. We do like filling up Hulu and Netflix a lot.
Mm-hmm. Q has taught me to cook, which is a skill I'd never had before.
And
So
he's an amazing cook. He's awesome at it.
Aw, I love that. And I also love to hear that you're doing your own little skits. You're kind of keeping theater going right in your own home. So
We're looking for, I mean, nothing can replace the Randall Theater, obviously, but we were hoping to join some community theater, and then this hits, so we're like, we'll be our own theater. We're entertaining.
yeah, we're funny, right?
We think we're funny, so, you know.
So now let's talk about the Randall Theater a little bit. So Jon, tell me about how you first got involved in the Randall. What was your first show?
Technically, my first show was You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I was the spotlight operator. After I don't actually remember what my first show on stage at the Randall was. I think it might have been either Fractured Fairy Tales or I was an understudy for the Complete Works of Shakespeare Abridged. And I never made it on stage, but I was a part of that, which was fun. Like every other show that I could be in from that day to many years later.
Well, and I think some of the things that I remember best and enjoyed so much was Holmes and Watson Save the Empire. You were so good in that. Man of La Mancha.
I loved that show. Basically, any show directed by Tony Hawley was just a wonderful experience.
What were some of your favorite roles at the Randall?
Definitely Pseudolus and Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
Oh, yeah.
Watson and Holmes and Watson Save the Empire, and Harry Wotton in The Picture of Dorian Gray was another huge one for me. It was a lot of fun. It was a kind of character I'd never played before. I'd always wanted to play a more, shall we say, morally ambiguous or just straight up morally reprehensible character. And it was a lot of fun. That was the dentist in Little Shop of Horrors.
So Q, tell me about how I don't really remember your first show at the Randall. So tell me how that happened.
But my first show at the Randall Theater was Dorian Gray, directed by Tony Hawley. And it was a lovely experience. I had taken a hiatus from theater for a while, and then a friend suggested that I audition, and I did. And it was a beautiful experience.
Well, that was a really great show, and there was just all these great special effects and the characters. There was everybody in that show just really stepped it up, and it just made it unforgettable. You've done several shows together at the Randall. Let's talk about that a little bit. And you just start wherever you want to. I know we've already talked about Dorian Gray, but there was also White Christmas on the Town.
Dorian Gray, we didn't really get a chance to do much together in Dorian Gray because I don't think our characters are ever on stage or exchange a line of dialogue together.
You were criticizing my acting.
Right. The one time we ever share the stage together, my character is basically telling his friends about how much her character sucks at acting.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't do a really great job with that Shakespeare. It's like my character could have upped her game a little bit, but then, yeah. But White Christmas was just about the time we were really becoming close friends. Mm-hmm. And I feel like sharing that time together, waiting for the next little bit to act, there was a lot of waiting on stage.
Yeah.
And I feel like that bonded us together quite a bit. And we loved singing together. So it was like something that we enjoyed doing a lot. Like every time we got a chance to sing one of our songs, we were like, yes.
Coming up, Jon and Q are going to talk about their experiences being in Evil Dead, and in particular, the night that Mr. Bruce Campbell himself came to see the show. Should be quite a revelation, which is kind of like full disclosure, which happens to sound like exposure. And speaking of exposure, it's time for our question of the week. And by the way, I make no apology for that segue. Tonight's question: have you ever done a nude scene? And if not, would you?
I have not. I would potentially, depending on how tastefully it was done and if it served the story.
I know that there were some costume mishaps in Forbidden Broadway. So technically, you saw what you saw.
Almost in Young Frankenstein when I was behind the bed sheet, but I wasn't actually naked. But I absolutely would if I was in a production of Calendar Girls.
I have not. Maybe.
I have never done a nude scene on stage. Yeah, I think I would. I'd say I'm pretty comfortable in my own body to do something like that.
Yes, people probably have seen parts of me on stage. It was not intended.
Woo! I have not. I have not done a nude scene on stage. If I knew going in that a particular role had a nude scene in it, I would do it if the role was meaningful and important enough to be able to do that.
I have not. I can't imagine anyone wanting to see me nude. Yeah, why not? Life's an adventure. Why not?
But really, actually, I really wanted to do the full Monty. I think it would be hilarious.
We did hair in college. That was fun. And yeah, I would totally do it again, as John said, in the right time with the right people.
I have not. I have been part of a nude photo shoot before, but that was a long time ago. Depends on the show. If I believed in the show and the creative process behind it, then yeah, I think I'd do a nude scene.
Honestly, if the show called for it, if it would make a joke land or make a character have a moment that the character needed, there would be no question. I'd be nude in front of a pope.
All right, so what we're going to talk about now, Jon and Q, is a really fun brush with greatness, you might call it. We were doing Evil Dead, the musical. It was the very first show that we were doing in the new space over at 20 South Fir Street. And so we were opening the theater with that show. Very different kind of show from what the Randall usually does. And Evil Dead, the character of Ash, was personified by the legendary Bruce Campbell. And we found out one night that he was going to be in the audience.
Just to let you know, Bruce Campbell is coming tonight.
What? Ah! I believe you promised us you wouldn't tell us if that was happening.
Okay, please come on. He and 5 guests are coming tonight. The reason why I'm telling you now is because rather than seeing him and go, that's Bruce Campbell, but I'd rather have you guys relish in the funness and happiness of it.
That's fair.
So what was that like for you to get that news that he was going to be in the audience?
Well, as you can tell by the video, which zooms right in on my face right after I hear that news, my brain kind of shuts down. To be playing a part that is so iconic and to have the person who invented that part be watching you do it is the kind of pressure that I have never before experienced. It was equal parts scary and energizing. It was like being threatened with a cattle prod. It was just, I knew how I had been playing the part, and I was immediately going over the entire show in my head, thinking, what can I do different? What can I do better? How can I fix it? And it wasn't until I got backstage and chilled out that I was like, okay, do the show the way you've been doing it. The performance you're doing is fine. Trust what you're doing. Chill out. And I was able to bring myself into a place where I could actually get on stage and do a freaking show.
I had it in my head that, okay, everyone's going to be bugging him. He's not going to want to come. And so to hear that he was actually coming was like, wow, I hope he enjoys it. I function not possible.
I hope we don't hit him in the face with a geyser of red fluid.
There's going to be a lot of blood. We're going to have to try really hard not to slip and fall this time.
Oh, God.
But I think the best part was hearing him laugh backstage. While we were on stage, it's such a rush, you can't really hear whether anybody responds to you or not, other than the roar or lack of roar. But backstage, you can hear very clearly, and so every time someone hit a line, which was a lot, and there was a resounding laugh, and then we heard from someone, it's like, that was Bruce Campbell. It was like,
Jon, what I remember about that night is you did not miss a beat. You were there with that same energy. If I hadn't known that he was sitting there in the audience watching you, I would have thought it was another night of the show. You brought it, and you really did not miss a step.
I'm glad that's how it came across.
It was definitely a really special night for all of us, and we really enjoyed having him there. And the show was really good. The audiences loved it. Well, Jon and Q, thank you so much for being with us on Ghostlighting Theater in the Dark. It is first of all really great to see your faces, and I'm just so glad that you were able to take some time to visit with us.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been a while since we've dipped our toe in the theater world, and this was a nice little reminder of the glory days.
Yeah, we were always very fond of Randall Theater, and it's so good to see you again.
Yeah, it's wonderful to see you.
Well, it looks like the office of Private Detective Cam Duncan is closed for this week, but don't worry, he'll be back next week with more of Cam Duncan and the Dilemma of the Doctor's Wife. We're also still looking for entries for our public domain concert series. You know how that works. Just look up a list of public domain songs on Google, record yourself singing it, and then send that recording to kathywing.randalltheater@gmail.com. You can do the same thing for your entries for our hip hop challenge, in which we have challenged you to take any musical theater song and sort of turn it into hip hop style in honor of the musical Hamilton, which is coming to Disney Plus on July 3rd, just in case you didn't remember. And finally, you can still be the owner of a Randall Theater Company Theater Strong wristband. All you need to do is send a donation of $20 or more to the link at the bottom of your screen, or follow the link that you find on randalltheater.com. Any donation of $20 or more gets you that wristband, and we will send that to you. And that is especially important right now as we are making this transition into a different space. And remember, you can catch up on all of our episodes of Ghostlighting on the Randall Theater Company Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching tonight, and thank you so much for the support that you've shown the Randall Theater Company over the years, and especially now during this time of transition. We're very excited about what lies ahead. We can't wait to get into whatever space we're going to be into next, and we are excited about getting back to the business of putting on plays and musicals. We hope that you will join us on this journey and be a part of it with us. So thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time, but until then, we'll keep the ghost light on for you.